Go to hardafseltzer.com. Get some 8% seltzer shipped right to your house. The peach, the lemon lime, the strawberry shortcake, and the blue raspberry. No carbs, no sugars, no gluten if you give a shit about that. We are live in over 100 stores in Tennessee. More just opened up. Go to hardafseltzer.com today and check your store locator or order them right to your house.
Live from our studios in Austin, Texas, this is Drinkin' Bros Fake News with Ross Patterson, Dan Holloway, Papa G with the traffic,
How you feel?
Not good.
Yeah?
field reporter Hot Bob, and Delco Dan with sports. Welcome to Fake News.
Yeah! Welcome to Drinkin' Bros Fake News, everybody. Bringing you the realest, fakest news of the week. If you wonder why we're all bundled up here, it's about 40 degrees in Austin, and it's been dumping buckets of rain all over us.
Well, I'm wearing shorts and flip-flops because I'm not a coward.
Are you really?
Yeah.
I can't see you under the desk.
Well,
I've learned not to look.
I wouldn't recommend looking.
It's the first time you've ever worn pants or any form of shorts underneath this desk. Usually it's just your fat, wet dong slapping on the chair like a salmon popping up out of a stream.
Which, by the way, I cycle through different names for my dick and balls.
Oh, you don't? What do you got here this week?
Well, since we have a new sponsor, First Form, Andy Frisell is a dear friend of mine, and we're working with his products now. And these meat sticks are the best meat sticks of all time.
The protein sticks, yeah.
And this one's called breakfast sausage, and I think that's what I'm going to start calling my dick.
You should, dude.
Look, I'm a capitalist.
Yeah.
It's for the show.
Yeah.
So
you should. I'm proud of you. Speaking of the First Form, so we've all been gigantic fans of them forever. Obviously, you've been on his show before in the past. Derek Whita is there as well. All the homies. We've got the energy drinks. We're doing a huge campaign with First Form.
Yeah, that one tastes like Mountain Dew. It's really
That's
good.
what you said. So I'm gonna drink it live on air here, and then I'll tell you the truth, whether it is or it isn't.
This wasn't planned, by the way.
No, it wasn't.
You brought up my dick, and I was thinking about me calling my dick breakfast sausage because I think it's funny, and it just led to this.
And the hilarious thing is I actually had the breakfast sausage yesterday.
It's really good.
And I'm glad I didn't say that right before you said you called your penis that, because that would have meant I sucked your dick yesterday. So only appropriate to start the news like this. What flavor is this, by the way? You said this tastes like Mountain Dew?
I don't. It's citrus something.
I need a little
It's
kick
on the
today.
It's on the label, but it tastes like Mountain Dew. Yeah, it's very good.
Oh, goddamn, that's good. Holy shit. Citrus Blast from First Form. Is it firstform.com?
Yeah, firstform.com /Drinkin' Bros is where you can get those.
Firstform.com /Drinkin' Bros, PHORM on First Form there. They're a massive company. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, very large company.
Yeah, dude. Because we don't typically, we have to vet all these products before they come on. So that way the listeners are like, hey, dude, what the fuck? We had one in the history of our show slip through in the past, and it was like, shit. We didn't know, so we vet it. And First Form, though, is so massive. I was like, they won't come on the show, will they?
Yeah.
And then here they are.
Well, it helps that we're friends with them. And yeah, that one product that we had on the show, it was like Hamburger Helper, but for babies. Mm-hmm. Not to feed to babies.
Right.
Like babies were the ham. It was Baby Helper.
Right, and they were using actual babies.
Well, we thought, because there's a lot of parents in the audience, we're like, oh, people always need help with their babies.
Right.
What we didn't understand was it was cannibals, and they were eating the babies.
They were eating actual chunks of babies, which is also why we don't have Panda Express here, because they make it with live pandas.
Yeah. Well, you have to do it live. If you wait for the panda to die, that fouls the meat.
That's what
so
I heard.
I understand it, but I'm just not a huge panda guy.
No, you never have been.
No.
Angel Garcia just threw us $20 here for some drugs and hookers. We appreciate it. The weekend's coming. So, yeah, we all need that in our lives. Well, the drugs, at least. I'm married. Now, you can get the prosties and live your life.
Well, I'm just going to move to Miami soon, I think.
Are you?
Yeah, but not for prostitutes. It's
just for life.
Austin sucks.
Yeah.
You know?
At least this weather's weird,
At least
man.
there's a beach there.
Yeah. No, I get it, man. Last night's coaching soccer, it went from 74 down to 54 within the course of an hour. And then this morning we woke up, it's 40 and it's raining here. We're in April and it feels like the Midwest. I feel like we're back in Ohio.
The rapid temperature and barometric pressure changes are really doing a number on my shitty knees and back.
Oh, I bet. I mean? Yeah.
So time to sail on out of here.
Fake news, kids, and the old week. First up, no owners, no masters. We live in the dumbest period of human history, and no organization makes that more obvious than the NBA. The NBA franchise owners are no longer owners, by the way, but instead they're now referred to as governors. It's not clear who elected them or appointed them. Apparently, the NBA made this change in 2019 because Commissioner Adam Silver was concerned the phrase owner would imply that players are slaves because most of the owners are white and most of the players are black.
And, he's not entirely wrong, I suppose. So the average NBA salary is $10 million per season.
Per person? Per player?
Per player, yeah, which is that's definitely in line with how much slaves have been paid historically.
Sure, so they were getting $10 million a year?
Yeah, about $10 million. Well, adjusted for inflation, obviously.
Oh, right? Of course.
So you can see why the league might be sensitive to that sort of thing. And we all remember slave free agency as well, which was not, I wouldn't say a problem, but some of the stuff, the collective bargaining agreement with slaves led to things like service time manipulation. So you got to keep that in mind.
Sure.
So I understand it's been a rough history for these folks.
No, and I get it. And there's such a stark difference between the NBA and slavery. Like, for example, when I was thinking about this last night, with NBA players, when you go to the draft, they weigh you, they measure you, they make sure how fast you are and your ability to make quick movements and everything. And, man, where else have I heard that? Oh, shit, that's the exact same formula they used on slaves when they sold them to see who would get the most amount of money during slavery. Okay, well, shit.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird that you would, before hiring someone to perform athletically, test their ability to perform athletically.
I don't think you can do that anymore.
I don't honestly see the connection between the two things. I think it's just a racist trope, a vestigial trope from our past that is, frankly, embarrassing. Standards? No, we're not doing that.
Holy shit. So
as long as everybody has a good time playing, that's what really matters.
Last night, I'm reading an article about, this is on ESPN, by the way. This was an article about Mark Cuban, and it said Dallas Mavericks governor Mark Cuban. And I looked up the writer, and I hit him up, and I said, hey, dude, are you having Chat GPT write your fucking articles now? Because you put governor instead of owner in front of Mark Cuban, and somebody underneath the thread on Twitter said, no, they're getting rid of the word, and they're going with governor now. And I said, well, that doesn't make sense. They're not elected officials. They were trying to use some other phrase as well besides governor. It was partner or participation something. And I was like, no, they don't own any of the team either. And how does Mark Cuban feel about that when he spent $400 million back in the day to buy the team? That is he's just a glorified renter now?
Well, I kind of thought maybe it was the Mavericks had gone like Disney. Disney kind of owns its own city in Florida.
Right.
So maybe Dallas Mavericks is now a city, and he's the governor of it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's going to pretty great lengths in it, and it's starting to drip outside of the normal channels that you see this stupid shit in, and it's affecting my personal life, which I don't appreciate. So recently, my HOA is doing elections right now.
Okay.
Right? And I'm doing everything I can to sabotage them.
Yeah.
I've voted more times than I'm supposed to. I've written in candidates that don't exist, things like that, just because fuck these people. But they have recently asked me to stop referring to my guest bedroom, where Joel will be sleeping soon, as slave quarters. I mean, where does it end?
Yeah, where does it going to stop then? If you can't call your own guest bedroom the slave quarters, because you will have a white slave living there. It has nothing to do with race.
No, he is a slave. There's no question about that.
Yeah, and he's a white man. Are we not allowed to call him a slave if he's white, though?
Honestly, it's very progressive of you, Dan.
That's what I think. I think Dan's changing the stereotype. There was a stigma behind the word slave. Now he's having a white man be his own slave. So that's nice.
Yeah, I don't know if that counts as stolen valor, though, so I got to be careful.
Sure,
right?
Sure. You're going to have to do some research.
Well, there's
on
laws
that.
about it now. You can be prosecuted for stolen valor.
Yeah, of course.
So,
of course.
Obviously, don't want to get myself or Joel prosecuted. He wouldn't, because of his race, wouldn't understand how to get ID or legal representation.
Yeah.
Right. So that's a problem as well.
It is. It is. Joel will figure it out, though, real goddamn quick. But the writer of this article, as I looked him up last night, his name was Tim McMahon. He's an ESPN staff writer. So here's where I feel bad.
Any relation?
No, none whatsoever.
See, because Vince McMahon's children would never write some stupid shit like this.
No, they sure
He
wouldn't.
owns everybody.
Yeah, sure does.
Matter of fact, he owns all the wrestlers and now all the fighters as well.
He owns everything. He's the chairman now. He's back, dude. You know he's running that company.
Yeah,
He's
you
running
can
the whole
say
thing.
chairman, I guess.
That's pretty racist.
Thomas
chairs.
Jefferson was a chairman of Monticello. A lot of
Was
people
he?
don't know that. Yeah,
Yeah,
he was the
that's
governor of Monticello.
That's odd. But with Tim McMahon here, this ESPN staff writer, here's where I feel bad, right? You grow up, you have a love of sports. Probably your dream job is to work for ESPN, be a writer or something like that. Then you get there, and then somebody's got to proof this article there, your editor, and say, hey, we don't use the word owner now if you own a team. It's now called a governor. I don't know who the fuck is actually going to use this other than in writing. But the problem is we're changing all of these words now.
This is a 3-year-old story. They've been using
Yeah,
this
it's
on
from
broadcast
2019.
the entire
Right.
time.
Right.
Like if they've been saying it, I'm actually shocked you hasn't heard this before.
I have not heard the word governor live on
They
air.
say it on TNT all the time, ESPN all the time.
No.
all the time.
Not once have I heard it. It's usually owner every single time. It's the first time I've ever seen it in writing. And when it came out, Tim actually had it as a capital G. He has since switched it this morning to a lowercase g because of the Twitter thread that went on last night. First time I've ever seen it and heard it.
Am I a home governor now? Am I a business governor?
I'm not sure.
Can I not use that word at all?
Are we not allowed to use the word owner anymore because we own stuff?
I mean, that is like it is of the definition of governor. Like there's several definitions, and one of them is just a person in authority, one's employer.
Okay, do you want to? So you're looking
Boy,
that up,
Bob.
I assume, on what, Merriam-Webster or something?
Yeah, just the Google definition.
Put that in the Wayback Machine and see how recently that became part of the definition.
Yes.
Because if you remember correctly, last year in June, the CDC changed the definition of the word vaccinated. They changed the definition of the word immunity.
Correct.
And then Merriam-Webster followed shortly after and changed the dictionary definition of those words.
And so a lot of these dictionary definitions have been changed over the last 5 to 6 years.
I don't think they changed it for the NBA. I'll be totally honest.
We'll find out, Bob. What is it? What do we got for governor? Because that's the first time I've ever heard of an owner of a team who bought it.
And then just anecdotally,
governor.
has anybody ever heard someone referred to in an ownership position as a governor of anything?
No.
It's more of a British thing. It's a dumb term, but it's a real term.
Well, we certainly shouldn't be adopting any kind of British things. They lost.
Yeah, they were second, Bob.
We kicked their ass the fuck out of our country.
Same with the Confederates, Bob. They were second. We don't celebrate second place.
Yeah, if I catch you eating blood pudding or hot dogs for breakfast or whatever the fuck those retards eat, you're fired.
Yeah.
We don't put up with that.
We don't do second place
1776
here.
is when history began. Everything before that was a mistake.
All right? Francis Scott Key, Bob. Have you heard of him?
He was in a different war, but yeah.
Who gives a shit?
Your mom was in a different war, bitch.
To this day, he is okay. So I'm looking at governor here on Google. It says the elected executive head of a state of the U.S. Now, do you have something different than that? In British, it says the head of a public institution.
Yeah, right under that. So you read the first and second definitions. The third definition, the person in authority, one's governor. You just had to go down one more line.
Yeah, but a person in authority.
No, so the third one here
There's
is
no implication that it's a business owner or any of that stuff.
Governor is a broad term. Like they didn't change the term governor just for this thing. You've seriously never heard that. You've never watched like a British show on PBS or something like that where
Live
they
in
call
America.
people governor and stuff.
governor. Hello, governor.
You are so close to being unemployed right now.
I mean, it is fucking crazy. You're holding on to this for what? Like the third definition is what we're going with now.
Words have more than one definition. Like what?
Three lines down. You know what it's filed under, Bob? Informal British. When have we ever spoken informal British here?
Yeah, we're using British
before we were
colloquialisms now to
ruled?
avoid the appearance of racism.
My
They
God.
invented
Not defending
racism.
the name change, but you guys were like, they made this up yesterday. They didn't.
Yeah, they did.
They sure did,
The
Bob.
definition?
Of owner versus governor?
That definition that you gave does not in any way reflect the owner of a sports franchise or a business.
Ever in the history. When you fill
So
out
they're using a
your...
word out of context. They may not have changed the definition, but they're using the word completely out of context.
Do you guys have an LLC for softcore history? Yeah. Are you referred to as an owner or a governor on it?
None of the above.
Why not? Why do you think governor's on there, Bob?
Well, you would be.
It's an informal British term. I'm sure it's on every piece of paperwork.
I think partner is on an LLC.
Managing
right?
partner,
Managing
yeah.
partner. I don't even remember. But
informal British is not something we're going to in today's world.
To Bob's, so thesaurus.com synonyms for owner, governor is one of them. But I think there's some better ones that they could use. Proprietor also means owner,
Okay.
which,
That'd be fun.
can you say that?
Proprietor that'd be an all right term,
I don't know.
guess.
It's too many.
But I'm looking at the fourth one right underneath 3 here because, that's where the third one is. Now, the fourth one under governor is a device automatically regulating the supply of fuel, steam, or water to a machine, ensuring uniform motion or limiting speed.
No, I used to have one of those cocaine governors. You remember those things? You turn it upside down, turn the thing, tap it on the table, and you turn it back up, and it's a perfect bump.
Yeah.
Cocaine governor.
Yeah. What do they call that, Giorgio? It had another fun name.
Bullet.
Yeah, the old bullet, dude.
Legatee is another word for owner. And
I like legatee.
That's Rome, but slavery was legal in Rome, so I don't know if you want to use that one either.
Do they have slaves in Britain?
Is that a joke?
No.
I think they were the first country to officially outlaw slavery in 1820, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Slavery was pretty rare by that point in time in England proper.
Okay.
But they were deeply involved in the Atlantic slave trade, though.
Sure.
They enslaved entire other continents.
Using
During
informal,
that time.
yeah, exactly.
Don't worry about that.
But that's semantics, But if we're using informal British, let's face it, the British were also guilty of slavery as well. So, at this point, what the fuck are we doing here? I mean, you can't own anything anymore.
I guess. I mean, if someone calls me a business owner, again,
We're a business governors.
Yeah,
now.
I'm gonna let them have it.
Yeah, we're business governors now. And then we're just going to change all the words. The last one was Zillow, right? We can't call it the master suite. It's, what do they call it now? The great room?
No, great room is like a
Great
family
bedroom or something like that? The large bedroom?
Grand bedroom?
I don't remember.
I forget what the term is for that now, but that's a fun one for the realtors. So
Primary.
the primary room. I'm going to sleep in the primary room. Holy shit.
I still don't know what a drawing room is.
No, me neither.
I watched like 10 minutes of Downton Abbey, and then I went outside and burned a British flag in my yard. Like, how fucking dare you try to make me watch that bullshit?
A lot of people did, though. They loved it. They loved the goddamn thing. They made a couple movies out of it. This first form's got me going today. I like it.
Yeah, you're going to rip the screen off your laptop.
I might, dude. I might. But governors can do that, and we're the governors of the company, so I might do whatever I want here as the governor. I've got to be voted in, though. Next up, Leo and Obama. Leonardo DiCaprio took the stand Monday in the federal trial of a prominent 90s rap artist accused of funneling money from a Malaysian financier who reportedly sought to donate tens of millions of dollars to President Barack Obama's 2012 re-election campaign. Now, the guy who's on trial here is Pras from the Fugees. I'm going to be honest. First Fugees album was a banger from top to bottom, one of the greatest of all time. Unaware of what they've been doing for the last 15 years.
Well, they've all been in and out of courtrooms.
Sure have.
I don't know about Wyclef. He was stealing money down in Haiti. But the woman, what's her name?
Lauryn Hill.
Lauryn Hill has been charged with tax evasion like 8 different times.
She physically moved to an entire, like Jamaica for 15 years.
And now this guy, he's been getting investigated for a couple of years now, but finally he's on trial.
I know this story very, very well. The Hollywood star is Leonardo DiCaprio. He's partying with the fugitive money man, Jolo.
Which is a pretty great name. I mean, it's JHO is his first name, and then LOW is his last name. No, that's not his real name. That's just what we call him.
It sure is. It sure is.
But that's a pretty
it's his
dope name
nickname.
for a fucking dumpy fat dude from Malaysia.
Yeah.
Like I feel like it's too cool of a name. Pull up a picture of this asshole.
Pull up a picture of Jolo.
This is
It's,
too cool of a picture for this.
JHOLOW. Yeah, this is, if you picture your stereotypical Asian man in your mind, this is who you would picture. Pop his face up on the screen right there. There it is.
Now he has siphoned off, and there he is with that food lady,
Yep.
Salman Rushdie's ex-wife. I don't know what her fucking name is. But
Oh, Jesse, who is that? Is that Padma?
yeah, Padma Lakshmi is her name.
Yeah.
I was being obtuse. But Jolo has stolen about $4.5 billion
Yep.
in his career.
Yep.
And he's referred to as a fugitive Malaysian businessman, which is, I mean, all of this is way too cool for this dumpy retard that we're looking at right here.
Oh boy. So this one, sadly, I know the story of.
Like, who you want to make a movie about this because it's such a crazy story?
I sure do.
What do you have to do? Get Hero from fucking that? What was the name of that show? Heroes, yeah. Just like fucking send him to fat camp to get fatter so he can play this character. It sucks, man. It's never the people you want it to be.
Yeah, so look, full disclosure on this one, man. I'm gonna turn a little red on this one. There might be some pictures of me and him floating around out there in the world. A story I've told on the show before in the past about having dinner with Harvey Weinstein was because of him, and he was there. These guys produce Wolf of Wall Street. They opened up a production company in Hollywood.
He also produced the Gangnam Style video too, and he was starred in it as well.
They looked very, very similar. And since he's on the lam right now, I guess I can share this story, and it doesn't matter. He's hiding in China, and they cannot find him right now. So this trial that's going on is for the Fugees rapper Pras and the $30 million that came from Jolo, and then the Prime Minister of Malaysia's son. Now, the Prime Minister of Malaysia was popped for this. This was the largest embezzlement in United States history at $3.5 billion. The son is in prison in Malaysia. The father was the Prime Minister. He's either been ousted or under investigation and arrested or very, very close or whatever it is. Jolo, the guy we just had on screen, has completely disappeared into China somewhere. They have not been able to find him at all.
Well, he's
a total mystery.
Yeah,
so,
it's like a Chinese needle in a stack of Chinese needles, right?
Correct.
I mean, there's 1.5 billion people there. What are you going to do?
Now, for this story, since I have some insight on it, because DiCaprio, they're making fun of him for taking the stand and saying, "Did you know that he gave $20 to $30 million to Obama?" Right? And DiCaprio's comment on the stand was, "I said, wow, that's a lot of money."
Hard-hitting analysis.
30. He makes $30 million a movie.
Yeah.
So, sure, that's a lot of money, but you've also been making it every single year of your life since Titanic. So it's probably not that much money to you. Now, the question is whether or not DiCaprio knew about this, and the answer is my personal belief on this one is no. And here's why. To get them to do this fucking movie, they were bribing them with fun gifts and all the other stuff. And you can look this one up. It's not a part of this story, but DiCaprio is a gigantic fan of Marlon Brando. Getting an Oscar is against the law. If it's not yours, you're not allowed to sell it or resell it to anybody else or buy it off the black market.
Against whose law?
There's a law in the Oscars. You can look it up, Bob. It's some law that it has to be returned to the Academy for $1, I believe, is the terms underneath it.
Yeah, but the Academy isn't a legal or governmental institution, so they can suck my hog.
They can, and if you have it, you have it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if it gets out there and it gets under like FBI or courts or auction houses or whatever, it has to get returned to the Academy, which it was. So in order to get DiCaprio to do this movie, and who was the director of this? It was, God damn it, Scorsese.
They gave Scorsese this camera from like the 1920s. DiCaprio, they gave the Waterfronts. What was the Waterfront movie, Bob?
On the Waterfront.
That's it. They gave Brando's Oscar that he won from On the Waterfront to DiCaprio, and they were dousing them with gifts to get them to do this movie because it had been sitting there for 10 years, and DiCaprio owned the rights to the book of Wolf of Wall Street. Now, in fairness, and this is why I'm saying I don't think he knew, I didn't know. There was a tab one night that came to dinner that we were at a club in France, and it was $127,000. No lie, for one night. And Jolo picked up the tab and then wrote a tip for, I think it was $50,000 on top of it. I didn't know him. He didn't really speak that much English. I had no idea that this guy was siphoning money, and I didn't really think he spoke English, to be honest with you. I thought it was a rich dude who wanted to hang out with celebrities. Mm-hmm. This type of shit happens all the time. Now, the question isn't really DiCaprio. He was called to testify against Pross.
Right, yeah.
And I think Pross probably knew. And I think he's probably going to go away for a very long time from this trial. And I think systematically they're trying to knock this down one by one to get back to these other guys before the other guys go on trial for this. So I think Pross is probably going down, and DiCaprio was called to the stand to testify against him, but it appears as if he didn't really say anything negative about him, and his statements were saying that he didn't really know. And to be totally honest, none of us really knew. We just knew it was a rich guy from Asia, but nobody ever knew this guy's background.
Well, he gave DiCaprio like multiple Picasso and Jean-Michel Basquiat paintings. That's a red flag.
Yes.
Because art is the most corrupt. Art is more corrupt than drug dealing by a pretty wide margin. You know what I mean? So Hunter Biden, for example, like if you want to launder money, draw a fucking snake on a shitty canvas and hand it to somebody and say, all right, give me $40 million and my dad will talk to you. I mean, it's pretty simple, right? So, anybody that's moving specifically art around, you should be suspicious of that person.
So there was a New York Times best-selling book about this, written by a New York Times author, actually, who did this. It's kind of clinical. There's no really personal stories in there. But this fund, known as 1MDB, and again, this is the largest embezzlement in United States history at $3.5 billion, describes when they went into the production office and seized the place, the feds. There was, I think, 12 Picassos stacked on top of each other, sitting on top of a conference room table in a locked room in the back. And they were just giving these fucking things out all the time. I mean, this story's so fucking insane that if they ever make a movie about this, it will seem so unbelievable that there's really no words for it. I know they're tossing around the super yachts and all that other shit. I've been on those. I've been on his specifically. And you're not even scratching the surface of how truly fucking crazy this is and how people can literally buy their way into politics, movies, everything. If you have the money to do it, you have the money to do it. So Wolf of Wall Street wasn't their only movie. They did Daddy Daycare with Will Ferrell and Marky Mark. They did Dumb and Dumber 2. They did, yeah.
So nothing good.
Well, made a lot of money, though. So they were profitable, and I don't know what happened to those films. I heard the feds seized those movies as well, and they now own the rights to them, which is super interesting.
So they're signing renewal contracts with Amazon Prime?
Prime or HBO or wherever Wolf of Wall Street, lives and all that other stuff to try to recoup some of this money. But I don't know how you're going to recoup $3.5 billion unless you're selling. You know this better than I. What do you do with a stack of Picassos once the feds take them?
You give them to Christie's auction house and let them deal with it.
And then so what do they sell them off and then they give the money back to the feds? Yeah. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, Christie's is pretty much the gold standard for that sort of thing. Although if you, it's the federal government, so they can't go through the normal channels. The normal channels would be shady as fuck. Saudi princes and things like that. I doubt that we're going to do that, but who knows?
Yeah, I don't know either. But with DiCaprio, with these top, let's say the top 10, A-list stars out there, you know that you can make a movie immediately if they sign on to do it. Therefore, these guys get so many fucking outrageous gifts all the time. I bet you The Rock is probably getting 5 Lambos a year from producers who are just hey, come and star in this fucking movie. And he's not really asking questions about it. But this trial is going to be super fascinating for years and years to come. I think Pross wanted to get in with Obama, if you want my guess on this. I don't think these guys really give a shit about politics or anything else. It was just a means to get two celebrities.
A Malaysian businessman? No, he probably, he's just buying access.
That's it, right?
I would assume, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I would do.
Yeah.
Although I would not the type of celebrities he's buying access to.
Well, if you go down, a lot of them were ladies as well. So.
Oh, that's not what I meant.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
For me, it would be like weirdos.
Who's like for example, who?
I don't know, that dude that played the Flash, I guess.
Ezra Miller?
Yeah, because he's a fucking freak show, man. I would want to hang out with him and see what it's all about. Celebrities are fucking boring.
Yeah, I agree.
They're just, an ordinary person that does something that people like. So one of two things happens. Either they are kind of belligerent about the whole thing, or like, oh, I don't really care about any of this, and they troll people and are dicks to people, like Ryan Reynolds, for example. People are like, oh, Ryan Reynolds is an asshole. No, he's just a guy that probably would have been your funny friend, but now he's famous and people are constantly needling him 24 hours a day. And
right.
He's a dick, so he's going to talk some shit. Or they're the people that start to believe it and start to smell their own farts.
Sure.
Yeah. Somebody in the chat, Nico the Greco, said Nick Cage. Absolutely.
Yes.
I would buy.
Yes.
I would pay off Nick Cage's entire tax debt.
We tried to buy Nick Cage, Nico. That was for Rescue 16. We tried to pay him, and he said, look, his agent was honest. He was just like, look, he owes a lot of money in back taxes, and if you pay his quote, he'll come and do your movie.
I think it's
sure.
$500,000
at the time. Yeah, I don't know what it is now because he's had a couple hits since. And good for him. He's fucking rad. But that would be a fun one. You're right. Mm-hmm. For me, I would rather buy so take a DiCaprio. He and Ryan Reynolds, this is a perfect example. Ryan Reynolds always invested his money into companies from an early age, and now you're seeing the success of it with, aviation, gin, and what he just sent, Mint Mobile, and all that other stuff. Whereas DiCaprio doesn't really own anything. He never got into that type
He
of shit.
vacations in places where there's a lot of sex trafficking, so he probably owns a couple things.
Well, he wouldn't be an owner; he'd be a governor.
He governs those whores.
Yeah, he governs. Yeah. He's a governor of the whores, obviously, not an owner. But yeah, this one's a fun one for sure. And I think Pross is probably going down, and that's too bad. That's too bad. So
he's not making music anymore.
No, he's all done.
They're not gonna go delete the Fugees' back catalog or anything.
No,
he's just gonna go to jail and get butt fucked by a bunch of dudes.
But he's looking at a lot of years for this. Does it say how many years for this? He faces 11 counts. Oof. Yeah. Criminal counts.
Probably 25 to life.
Holy shit.
I would assume if it's that kind of financial crime in that amount, yeah.
Because they were supposed to go on tour, and then it was abruptly broken off. It was probably this.
That's what. What's that dick's name? The Ponzi scheme dude.
Madoff.
That's what Madoff got. I think 25 to life.
Oh, did he really? Yeah. Oh, shit. Yeah. Crazy story, and this is not even close to being over. And yeah, if they ever find J-Lo, wow. Man, that would be a hell of a movie.
He's probably over there making Bollywood movies right now.
In China, who knows? Or just making actual Chinese movies, who knows?
I don't know. Does China make movies?
They do. And they're starting to get away from American movies because their directors are actually very, very good. And so are their actors. They didn't really need Hollywood. Once they figured out the system, they were like, oh, shit, we'll just make our own. So they're not really taking that much American movies anymore. But that'll lead us to our first sponsor, ghostbed.com/Drinkin Bros. 50% off the bundle package right now. That's the adjustable base and the mattress combined together. Split King is their most popular option there. That's when the mattress is split in half. And it's beautiful. You get two sides, two remotes instead of one. If your partner goes to sleep before or after you, or just wants to stay up and do blow all night out of a bullet, thanks for that callback joke, you can just lean up, do some yay all nights, and stare at Wolf of Wall Street. Great movie to do cocaine to. Okay? Maybe one of the best of all time. That and Scarface. Or if you're saying to yourself, Ross, I've already got the adjustable base. I don't need it. I just need a mattress. Right now, you're getting 40% off a mattress and 2 free luxury pillows with it. With the promo code Drinkin Bros at checkout. And you also get 40% off everything in the entire store. That's the sheets, That's the pillows if you want extra. That's the weighted blanket, the cover, all the fun stuff is 40% off with the promo code Drinkin' Bros. And when you check out, you're going to see a 3-year pay-as-you-go program. No interest as long as you have decent credits. When you check that box, all the deals are still applicable with that. And you can walk out of there with a brand new bedroom set for about $20 to $25 a month. Head on over to ghostbed.com/Drinkin' Bros today. Next up, U.S. versus the world. A series of actions by foreign governments seem to show that the movement against the U.S. by foreign powers is now underway in full force. After brazenly flying a spy balloon over the entire continental U.S., China recently struck a deal with Brazil to remove the dollar from their trade partnership. The Brazilian Trade and Investment Promotion Agency, Apex Brazil, said the new arrangement is expected to reduce costs and promotes an even greater bilateral trade and facilitate investment. What does that mean exactly, D'Anthony?
It means they don't have to go through a third-party currency anymore. So they're going from the yuan to U.S. dollar, then to whatever fake money Brazil uses, because that's not a real country.
Sure.
Right. And there's there's a scrape every time you do that. Right. There's a middleman taking some money there. Now they're setting up trade in a way that is more direct between the two countries. So yeah, there'll definitely be savings there.
Man, what does that mean for the U.S. exactly?
Well, so in addition to that, China's yuan, their currency, has replaced the dollar for most used currency in Russian trade now as well. And remember, Russia provides about, I don't remember the exact amount, but they provide a plurality of natural gas to all of Europe. They provide about 12% of the world's wheat. So there's a lot of exports that go out of Russia that used to operate on the U.S. dollar in the trade market, and now it's going to operate on the Chinese yuan, right?
Perfect. Mm-hmm. So just more money for China then.
Correct, yeah. And then, of course, we all remember Russia and China teaming up to assist Iran in making foreign agreements. And they're now, those three countries, Russia, China, and Iran, are now conducting joint military exercises as well. India, in addition, is moving off the petrodollar to their own rupee. So they're going to use their own. They have historically, over the past several decades, used the U.S. dollar for international trade. Now they're going to use their own currency for international trade. And they're also offering a service to other countries in the Southeast Asia region concerned about the inflationary dollar as well. And then, of course, over the weekend, OPEC announced that it's going to cut 1.5 million barrels of oil production a day to regulate prices, which will ratchet up the cost of oil globally, which has been a problem. And if you remember, over the last 6 months or so, as the Biden administration has asked them to be helpful to us, they've basically either not returned his calls or told him to go fuck himself. Mm-hmm. And even our best ally in the Pacific theater, in the East in general, Japan has now broken with the U.S. and agreed. So we had an agreement between the U.S. and Japan and several other states to not spend over a certain dollar amount on Russian fuel of any kind, natural gas or oil. And Japan this past week said, no, we can't do that anymore, so we're going to pay what it costs because we need that energy, right?
Where are we at then? As a country, it used to be we're number one. We're probably, number 4 now?
2.
I would say China 1, right? Mm-hmm. Probably Russia 2. Mm-hmm. And
Russia's economy is paper. Like they'll die, like any kind of negative influence on their economy, and it collapses almost immediately every time.
But I got Ukraine at 3 because they're pulling the biggest heist of all time by stealing all our money. So they've got to be ahead of us because our government cares more about their citizens than our own. So they're coming in ahead of us, and then U.S. is probably sitting at a comfy, cozy 4 in that one. As far as we're concerned, there's nothing we can do about this, right?
Well, we could have stopped it from happening, sure, but at this point, no, I don't think so. The reality is that the U.S. just doesn't have any power anymore. Did you know that Finland joined NATO?
I read something about it. Yeah,
and nobody is talking about it because nobody gives a shit.
No one cares.
That's how weak the United States. That's a huge deal. Mm-hmm. It's a huge step towards World War III, actually. But nobody's talking about it because the U.S. has made itself more or less irrelevant on the international stage. It has no power anymore. We spent all of our moral authority on these forever wars, these 20-year-long wars that had no fucking purpose except for to make people in the political classes, friends, richer. That was the only purpose of any of this stuff. And we've crippled our own economy in the same way that Germany did by cutting our own oil production and refining. And then we artificially inflated our currency by both printing 80% of it in the last 2 years and giving away billions, if not trillions of dollars, both to our own citizens and to the international community. So you combine all of these huge missteps with a weak leadership, a weak administration that gets steamrolled anytime there's any kind of international conflict. The only thing we're doing that is any way outwardly facing aggressive is funding Ukraine against Russia. And look how that's going. It's been going on for a year and a half now. We've made no progress.
None.
So, the U.S. is basically the laughingstock of the world. And look at how much time it took. That's how strong we were before. Look at how much time it took for people like, or countries like India and Malaysia actually has. China and Malaysia are working on a deal right now to be a fund and a trade center for all of Asia. Right, which is going to butt fuck Taiwan. They're fucked now. There's no coming back from that. That will be part of China within the next 10 or 15 years now. There's nothing we could do about it. But look how long it took. It took a year and a half of all of this incompetency before the international community was even able to make these moves. But now they're toppling one after another. So it's the petrodollar for the U.S. is going away. The petrodollar meaning that most of the transactions that take place internationally for oil specifically were done in U.S. dollars. And within the next year or two, that will no longer be the case. And whatever resiliency our currency has to the stupid mistakes that our leadership continues to make will be gone, and our currency will fucking collapse. And they'll use that opportunity to institute a digital currency.
So a lot of the top economists and top business owners around the United States have quietly behind the scenes predicted that the U.S. dollar will collapse in the next 12 to 18 months. Is that because of all of this?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, of course, we never want to let a good tragedy go to waste. So that'll be when the U.S. digital currency bullshit starts. And that's gonna be a real problem. Like, if you're looking for something that precipitates some kind of conflict, that's going to be it. But, frankly, I'm not sure. A lot of people are talking about how you should buy silver and gold and shit like that. And maybe
gold is at an all-time high today.
It's like AR rifles are always at an all-time high. Anytime anybody's talking about gun control too, right? So I'm not sure how seriously I take that, but you have to start thinking about being resilient in a bilateral way. One is to be able to maintain a roof over your head and food and water, right? And stay warm, more or less. And then the other one is like what investments you have and what they're going to look like, not inside the United States, but what countries are stable right now, what kind of trade is stable, and what backs that currency. Because I don't think a lot of countries are using a gold standard anymore. So what value is gold going to have of an entire civilization? Like, if all of civilization collapses today and you come to my house with with gold bullion and be like, hey, can I buy some water? I'm like, well, I need that to live, and I don't know what this shiny shit is. You know what I mean? What the fuck's the point of that?
Yeah, I was doing some research on it, and because in 2008, gold was pretty huge as well, right? I think it was above 2,000. And I was talking to a financial guy that I was working with at the time, and he says it goes in streaks like this, right? When the economy is doing shitty, people invest their money in gold and everything else. And the first thing I asked him was very similar to what you were talking about. I said, what do I do with it? What would I fucking do with gold if this all collapses? Where would I go? And he goes, well, South America still uses it for trade. And I was like, sweet. So should I start learning Spanish, or what's the fucking
or Portuguese
sitch there? Yeah. And I go, because I don't want to move there or anything else. And he goes, well, I really don't know what to tell you. Everything will kind of bounce back. But what if it doesn't bounce back? Like,
Well, something will. I mean, people still want to trade without reducing themselves to a bartering system. So some currency or another will step up. But it very unlikely that it'll be backed by a gold or silver standard. It'll just be another fiat currency that we all agree on the value of it. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me to stockpile gold, honestly. Like, this isn't fucking Game of Thrones.
Right. Now, a lot of people are trading it through the market itself, which I guess is fine. But if
I mean, investing in foreign currency that's stable isn't a bad idea.
No,
Honestly,
and I know people do it. I just don't know enough about it.
Japan's currency is pretty stable. If you want to go buy a bunch of Japanese currency, that's not the worst idea.
Okay.
Or even
Just invest in it
Chinese
in the
yuan.
market.
If you want to invest in Chinese currency, it's not a bad
Just
idea.
invest in China.
Or a guy named Juan.
There's a guy named Wanathan in the chat.
Yeah.
He was Drinkin' Bro of the Week the other day. Sponsor-wise, First Form, we talked about them at the top of the show. They're with us for a long time now. Best in the biz. Kind of shocking that they're here. It's fucking awesome. They're amazing. Their products are amazing. They've got everything over there. I mean, it's not just energy drinks, protein sticks, everything else. It's everything. It's every supplement you use. They got the post-workout stack. We got to get Delco on it here and see what kind of man he becomes before and after.
Beyond just the working out part, if you're just looking for lifestyle stuff, these are some of the products that I use. So this is OptiReds. It's basically fruits and vegetables ground into powder. Fruits ground into powder. And this is OptiGreens. It's green vegetables ground into powder. Now, you want to take these with some MCT to make sure they enter your bloodstream correctly.
Yes.
But modern farming sucks. Our plants are no longer nutrient dense like they were before because we speed through the process, bioengineering and things like that. So you need to supplement, otherwise you're going to feel like shit all the time. And especially for somebody like me who only eats meat. That's why I only eat meat, because it's so inefficient to eat vegetables. It's not that I don't like them. So I take these things along with a fiber supplement. And then, of course, this is Microfactor. This is their daily.
Yeah.
And it's got 6 different things in it. It's got like a multivitamin. It's got antioxidants. It's got CoQ10, which is really good for heart health. It's got some of the fruits and vegetables that you'll find in these products, EFA, probiotics, things like that. So it's kind of a one-stop shop to make sure your body functions properly.
They got everything. It's firstform.com/drinkinbros. Go to firstform.com/drinkinbros. They've also got apparel. They've got apps to help you work out. Derek White.
So Andy runs this program called 75 Hard.
Yeah.
And it's 75 days where you work out twice a day for 45 minutes each, at least a couple of hours apart. One of the workouts needs to be outside. Drink a gallon or so of water. You stay on a diet. You read 10 pages out of a physical book every day. And there's a couple of things on it. And then there's multiple different phases through it. If you're looking for, I think one of the biggest barriers to entry for somebody to do a lifestyle change and get healthy is just they don't know what the fuck to do because there's so much noise and not a lot of signal out there. 75 Hard really boils it down into a consumable.
And everybody's
every
fucking
day.
doing it, dude.
There's an app.
You'll see the hashtag 75 Hard on like people's Instagram and all that shit. They got everything there. It's a one-stop shop. Go to firstform.com/drinkinbros. GNC is dead. We don't need it anymore.
No.
They're all gone.
Yeah.
We're all done with that as grown-ups. Next up, don't fly this summer. A severe shortage of air traffic controllers at a key facility in New York is threatening to deliver another summer of misery for air travelers, prompting the FAA to ask airlines how the industry can avoid a repeat as travel demand rises. The agency hosted industry leaders for a meeting this past week on how to best manage congested airspace around New York and asked airlines to operate fewer flights while using larger planes to ease traffic. Airlines say they're willing to work with the FAA, but some have signaled frustration as they rebound from the pandemic. I hate to laugh during this, but this is what we've come to at this point. Is this real? We're actually using larger planes and less routes and just jamming more people on the same fucking thing? When we were on the flight last week, I said to Jesse, I was like, do these chairs feel smaller? Like, I'm not growing. I'm not getting fatter right now. Why is this happening right now? Is it because everybody's retiring and quitting? Like, I don't understand.
That's part of it. Yeah, sure. I don't think they ever recovered staffing-wise. People think that it's the people think that it's the flight attendants that are the problem. But realistically, It's the pilots and the FAA controllers. Because it takes years. You can train a flight attendant in 12 seconds.
Sure.
Can you say nuts? Congratulations, you're hired.
Come on down. You can grab an outfit, get in the back. Yeah.
Yeah. But, training somebody that's an air traffic controller is obviously a process. Training a pilot is a process. And historically, I think we talked to a pilot about this not too long ago.
We did, yeah.
But historically, the pipeline has generally been the military or something like that. Less of that now than there was before. And if you look at it costs, I believe, $300,000 to become a commercial airline pilot in education and experience and shit like that, somewhere in that area. And the starting pay for most of these places is $45,000 a year.
For a pilot?
Yeah. So that's double.
That's
double the amount of stress that we're putting on white-collar workers coming out with graduate degrees. Because let's say an attorney or a doctor, for example, they're coming out with about $150,000 or so in student loan debt, but they're immediately getting paid at least 20 to 40% more than these guys, and they rapidly scale through the pay system. That's not the case for airline pilots. You spend 5-10 years sometimes getting it to a level where you're making good money there, and then you're saddled with $300,000 in debt through that whole process in a lot of cases. So, of course, people don't find that very attractive. You have to be relatively smart to fly a plane, and I assume you're smart enough to read the fucking news and see what's going on there and look into to the profession and see kind of how fucked it is right now. So just like Bob talks about this shit all the time about how for years now, and Giorgio as well, millennials have gotten comfortable paying small service fees for things that should cost quite a bit more.
Microtransactions.
Well, that too, yeah, but like DoorDash, Uber.
Oh, yes.
Subsidized by investor money or whatever.
Correct, yeah. We've been subsidized by Silicon Valley money, and the airlines have been subsidized by federal bailouts and stuff like that. And it's all of that stuff is kind of coming to an end now, and we're going to feel the shock from it.
Yeah, pretty much. If you're going to fly to New York or DC is usually always fucked during these major situations. It's going to get bad. You know what I've noticed is, I'm still on mailers from other cities we've lived in and stuff. I've noticed very tiny airlines pop up that I've never heard before. And they're offering one-way flights out of some of these airports. And I wondered why and how.
Well, one-way flights because they can only half train the pilots. Right?
Is that what it is?
So there's no landing.
Okay.
You just stay in the air forever or you crash. I know. I made that up. No, it's not real.
That would be awesome if it
mean,
was.
That would be funny. That's kind of what the 9/11 hijackers did.
I want to look it up.
Apparently that wasn't suspicious to those Florida flight schools where the guy was like, I don't need to know how to land.
Yeah,
I'm all set on landing. Overrated is what I've heard about landing.
I want to look this up because I just got one here. Yes, here's what it is. So we used to live in Wilmington, and in my email here, I got an email about Sun Country Airlines.
Sun Country's been around for a long time.
Has it?
Yeah.
I've never heard of it before.
Yep.
I've never heard
it's
of
actually
Sun
pretty
Country.
Good. I actually like it.
And the other one that I got an email about here in my inbox here was Avello, Avel.
Not heard of that.
Avello Airlines.
Sun Country is founded in 1982.
Okay. So yeah, they're offering these direct flights. There's no, two stops or one stop or whatever, but it's only direct. But these smaller airlines are popping up more and more, and I wondered why, and I guess this is why. So
I think we should start a company that will build really large airbags all throughout the country, and we'll just start catapulting people.
I'd be down with that.
I mean, how hard could it fucking be?
Or a huge zip line that just goes across the nation.
Catapulting people, and they've got a hang glider.
Yeah.
And then it's up to you to get to your location.
Or trains. Trains work really well, too, unless you're in Palestine, East Palestine, Ohio.
Yeah, but we're going to have to get a bunch of Chinese people back over here to build more railways because we can't do it.
We can't.
Yeah.
We're not going to be able to pay them in enough money because their dollars better than ours.
JJ in the chat has a good idea. Can I just static line jump at my destination? That's not a bad idea either. Everybody is just a member of the 82nd Airborne now.
It'd be great.
You just stand up, hook up, shuffle to the door, fucking hand off your static line to the jump master, jump out, keep your feet and knees together, count to 4, look up and check your canopy, and then start to assess what's going on below you. It's a very simple process.
I think it's going to work great. Just get everybody involved. Get the kids in there, you know? What do you start at? 3, you think?
3 what?
3 years old?
Jumping out of an airplane?
Yeah, their little legs can handle it.
Yeah, I mean, as light as they are, that's the problem, is they're going to be so far off the X from you. So somebody like me, when I jump out of a plane at, let's say it's a combat jump, would be different because it's only about 500 feet. But from a normal jump at 1,500 feet on the static line, I'm dropping in about 10 seconds. I'm on the ground. Yeah. But I've seen people up there for like 25, 30 seconds. You know what I mean? And if there's wind, you're going to be way the fuck over there.
So a 3-year-old's going to take a while to touch the ground.
Yeah, I mean, you just tie like a cinder block to his legs or something. I mean, that's your carry-on.
Go ahead and jump. And you just fucking push him right out of the back of the plane. Next up, we got HVMN.com doing a little ketone IQ today, a little brain fuel. This is what they're giving to the troops now. The DOD's put a bunch of money into this. We love it. We're out of it here. We've drank in all of the ketone IQ up in this piece. Delco, are you secretly hiding some back in the office? Don't fucking lie. Because it's the thing for a while with great products on the show. These little fucks hide them in different places.
With great products comes great responsibility.
They sure do.
Uncle Ben said that.
Yeah.
Not the rice guy, the Spider-Man guy.
He's been canceled.
Not the Spider-Man guy.
No, not
yet. He's still fine.
He's fine.
Yeah.
But they did cancel Uncle Ben. He's no longer on the box anymore.
What are you going to do?
Is he not an uncle anymore? Like, was he never an uncle, I guess?
Oh, no, he called himself uncle, and he wasn't one, which is very suspicious. Right?
Gotcha. So it had nothing to do with race.
No,
it was just that he wasn't someone's uncle. Yeah, okay. Good to know.
So.
I didn't know why they took him off the box here. What is Ketone IQ? Ketone IQ is brain fuel, clean energy without sugar or caffeine. When is it used? You just take a shot whenever you need to re-energize and get back in the game there. Clears out the old dome. I love to use it for writing. I'm a gigantic fan. I keep my shit at the house. I've got the singular shots, but there was jugs of it up here. I fucking guarantee Delco's got it.
Delco was butt chugging it. So he put like a rubber nipple on top of the bottle, and he was just squeezing it into his butthole.
I bet he's got a fucking bottle of duct tape underneath the desk, like a fucking shotgun or something. That son of a bitch, dude. Because he's out of here at nights, heading off to the next workout. He's probably taking a sip underneath the desk and then bouncing out to the workouts. The brand is called HVMN, which stands for Health Via Modern Nutrition. They're not a ketone product, a keto diet product at all. 60% of the Tour de France uses these guys, and you can find them at Sprouts now, or you can go to hvmn.com/drinkinbros today. 20% off with the promo code DrinkinBros. That's 20% off with the promo code DrinkinBros at hvnm.com. mn.com. hvmn.com. I'm on it today, dude.
NTK Fabwork says Uncle Ben went to get rice and never came back.
You think so? Is that what he said? He told the kids.
He had like a thing of rice rolled up in his shirt sleeve.
Hey, kid, I'm going to go get some rice. I'll be right back. And then he just never came back. A lot of people know that about Uncle Ben. Lots. Next up, America's Fat Army. New research found that obesity in the U.S. military surged during the pandemic. In the Army alone, nearly 10,000 active duty soldiers developed obesity between February 2019 and June 2021, pushing the rate to nearly a quarter of the troops studied. Increases were seen in the U.S. Navy and the Marines, too. The Army and the other services need to focus on how to bring the forces back to fitness, said Tracy Perez Colmus.
Who knows?
That's a wild last name. Koehll.
Why you got so many names, bitch?
Yeah.
Huh?
Can I buy a fucking vowel there, Tracy? She's the director of the Center of Health Services Research for the Uniformed Services at the University in Bethesda, Maryland, who led the research. Overweight and obese troops are more likely to be injured and less likely to endure the physical demands of their profession. You don't say.
I don't believe that. I think the fat cushions you a little bit.
The military loses more than 650,000 work days each year because of extra weight and obesity-related health costs exceeding $1.5 billion annually. Is this a real story? Holy shit, dude.
Yeah,
that's a lot of fucking money.
Here, I've got a couple of questions about this. One is, how does one develop obesity? That's a really weird euphemism for being a fat piece of shit, isn't it?
Yeah.
You ate and didn't move. That's what happened.
Yeah.
Just say that.
But I also understand it because they weren't allowed to do anything, right? They
No,
were
you could
wearing
still go
masks.
outside. And
But didn't you have to wear a mask to go and run and bullshit like that? Wasn't there some crazy restrictions?
What does that have to do with anything?
Have you ever tried to run with a fucking mask on?
Yeah, dude.
It was awful.
Not with that kind of mask, with a gas mask on.
No, but I think they had to wear actual masks.
No, not when they're outside doing PT.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, I'm sure some dummies did it, but even then, a small cloth mask like that wouldn't be prohibitive to running.
It's awful, dude. I went to the gym because when they first opened up the first gym, they made you wear it if you wanted to go to the gym, and they would let in like 20 or 30 people.
Yeah, but you're talking about your experience, which is to casually walk on a treadmill.
I run on a treadmill in a dead sprint faster than a Kenyan.
Casually walk on a treadmill while you're swiping right
Nope.
on Grindr.
Nope.
That's what you're doing.
Nope. I am running at top speed. I don't even think at one point the treadmill stopped and they said, "Sir, please stop running this fast. No one can keep up with you, and we can't even see you. You're moving so quickly."
No, that's not what happened. But these dudes should be running probably fucking 15 miles a week, give or take, at the average. I would guess. So, putting on a cloth mask over that wouldn't change much.
Not true. If you guys go see The Flash this summer, it's a lot of me running at Planet Fitness, and they were just using that as like inserts of like how fast The Flash was moving.
The only similarity between you and The Flash is that Ezra Miller was also part of a sex cult.
And I love domestic violence.
Yeah.
We both do. By the way, have you seen that video when he was arrested and then let out?
No.
It was he went to a party right afterwards. Bob, if you can pull up the photo of it, it's really fucking funny. He went to a party right afterwards, and it was on the TV right behind him, and he's fucking boozing at a party maybe 2 hours after he got arrested.
Watching The Flash like, "Hey, bitch, that's me." Then he whips her with a fucking cable. Like, I don't know what he did.
It's really fucking funny.
Not a good dude. Yeah, this is weird. I mean, it's
there it is. Oh boy, that video is so good.
Here's what I don't understand about this. They're oh boy.
Look at him, dude. He's right on screen, and then they pan over, and they're like, "Wait a minute, is he speaking at a fucking wedding or a party?" Like,
You should go up and sign the television, autograph it.
so good, dude.
Yeah. So the way the story was written is fucking crazy. I mean, it says military leaders have been warning about the impact of obesity on the U.S. military for more than a decade now. Now, that part of it is about recruiting. They can't find enough people between 17 and 19 years old that isn't a fat piece of shit to join the military in the first place. Mm-hmm. Got it. But for 10,000 people, which is about 2 to 3% of all active duty Army troops, to become obese within a 2-year period like that, the military is in control of every hour of literally every hour of your life. They have the legal right to put your ass on a diet, to make you do extra PT, and to kick you out or put you in jail if you say no.
Right.
This is a leadership problem.
Sure.
And it stems from the very top, from General Milley, who spends too much time worried about white rage and getting his floating ribs removed so he can suck his own dick. Right? That's what's really going on here.
Well, the other part about this, and the way this article is written that you're talking about, is we're changing language, and this will go back to the governor owner thing at the top of the show. Like, it's almost as if to say, like, develop obesity. You used to just be able to say people were fat, right? Then it changed to obese and everything else and blah, blah, blah. Now you're developing it. Now you're getting into it. Now you're in the pre-trials of it and all this other shit. Like, call it what it is, and it's fine. I don't think anybody really has a problem of what went on during the pandemic and everything else, right?
Well, there shouldn't be, just to be clear, there should be 0% type 2 diabetes in the military.
Right.
Right? Like the kind that you get from your own behavior. That should be, if you have that, you should be kicked out immediately.
And isn't that the common theme when people walk up to you and they were like, "Hey, man, I wanted to be in the military, but I had asthma, or I was, this one diabetes or something like that."
There's a lot of flat feet, asthma, AIDS.
Oh, yeah, a lot of people with AIDS.
Yeah, you can't have AIDS.
A lot of people with AIDS.
I don't know.
But this is one of those things where we're starting to change the language because we're worried about offending people. Millie has been at the head of this for all this fucking bullshit that's going on. And we should just call it what it is and say, all right, great, man. There's a bunch of fat fucks and they need to get in shape. And this is the best of the best. And this is what it's supposed to be.
Shame plays a very important role in society.
It does. It does. And that's why fucking Ozempic is every goddamn place and nobody wants to talk about it. Because everybody wants to be thin. And get rid of being fat. Like, it's pretty simple.
I promise you, these drugs, Ozempic and the other one that's become popular now that are being used recreationally to instead of just walking for 15 minutes a day, which would do the same thing, you're going to start growing fucking gills or flippers or some shit at some point.
So they're saying there's one from Eli Lilly that's coming out next year that's going to be the end-all, be-all. And it's
going to end humanity, yeah.
I forget the name of it. I want to say it starts with an M, like Mozara or something like that. And it's
Mozambique.
That's the name of it. And it's coming out next year. And they were like, this is going to be the end-all, be-all, and everybody's going to start taking this. Because if you slowly notice, all of our favorite people that we like, without naming names, are suddenly getting smaller and really nobody knows why. Well, that's why. And that's what's happening. But you can talk about it. And just
you mean Tom Segura?
I don't know.
I don't know about him.
I don't know.
Tom Brady's on it.
I mean, Tom Segura has also put on quite a bit of muscle mass, so I don't think it's just that.
I didn't say Tom Segura. I was thinking Khloe Kardashian, but yeah.
Tom Brady, and it's disgusting that a professional athlete and now has to take Ozempic. Look at that man's face.
Do you think that's what it is?
He's very
honestly,
gaunt.
Or is it the fucking diet? Is it that TB12 bullshit?
He's very gaunt looking, is he?
Yeah, he is. He is gaunt looking.
I mean, but that you can get that way from not eating enough fat in your diet. But you would think that somebody like Tom Brady would be supplementing with a lot of collagen, which should prevent that, right?
Sure.
So maybe he's going double hard. I don't know, but he doesn't look good.
I think he's got too much going on. He's trying to keep up with all the bullshit right now. He's not on any kind of
Well, he's about to go on television, right?
He's just taking Ozempic.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I know this, though, with the TB12 shits. It wasn't, maybe it was Belichick or the owner or the governor of, Bob Kraft, the governor of the Patriots.
They kicked out his weirdo.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they said, do not bring that fucking diet into the Patriots organization. Get this bullshit out of here. Because you can't be a vegan and play tackle, right tackle for the Patriots.
Yeah.
So it would make sense. Now, if Brady's doing it, who knows? Or if he's just sad about Giselle, I'm not really sure. But she's with the jiu-jitsu instructor, and she's living her best life, Giorgio.
She definitely is.
She really is.
Getting turned up in all kind of pretzels.
I know. And that could have been you if you played your cards right.
Still might be.
If you were down there in Tampa, it was right place, right time. They were looking for a jiu-jitsu instructor in Tampa for the kids, and it could have been you.
There will be more Giselles.
You've got to circle like a vulture. You know what I mean?
Yeah, is there another supermodel living someplace married to an athlete that you could take down?
I'm sure there will be.
Kate Beckinsale is recently coming off a breakup with Pete Davidson. That was a kind of a short-lived fling, but you could sneak in there.
Giorgio's too old now. No, she goes for the 20s. She goes for the 20s.
Just shave. She won't be able to tell the difference.
Andy Roddick and Brooklyn Decker live in Austin.
There you go, Giorgio. Where do they live? Find it. Find the closest gym next to their house and start training their kids. Go after Brooklyn Decker. Or go to Denver. I have a feeling Russell Wilson could probably lose his wife soon to
what are you gonna? You're gonna hang out for Meghan Markle next? The most annoying fucking people in the world.
She has been my dream girl, Dan, and you know this.
Ciara, though, is actually attractive. I'm not a Meghan. I don't.
Dude, I'm telling you,
I'm not a Meghan Markle guy.
It's not a matter of being attractive or not. She is a horrible human being.
Doesn't matter. She's still the girl from Suits to me, and it's just she will never not be there. In the same way that Alec Baldwin will always be Jack Donaghy, and I know that that's nowhere near his real personality. It's just ingrained in there.
So did you just compare Suits to 30 Rock? Because that's sacrilege.
Yeah. Do you want to bang Alec Baldwin now? Maybe. What about Ilaria?
Ilaria, dude. Yeah, with a fake accent that's only gotten worse and worse as time goes on.
I'll let her believe whatever she wants.
Let her do. Hey, do whatever. Matter of fact, if you do meet her, sit her down and have her go on adamandeve.com, our next sponsor, and you can pick out your favorite sex toy. Is there a Mexican flair sex toy to that? Is there a bullwhip? Is there some kind of luchador mask on adamandeve.com that we could use? Have a little playtime in the bedroom? Yes, this is a real sponsor. Yes, there is a massive discount of 50% off and free shipping at adamandeve.com.
So you want to get a big item your first purchase.
With the promo code Drinkin' Bros. Well, you get one.
Right.
What was that pillow you had up there, Bob?
Ooh, the wedge. I
the
like
wedge. Pop up the wedge, because we're actually allowed to show that on YouTube there. How much is that wedge right now?
It's $125.
Right. So, with the promo code Drinkin' Bros, you get 50. Are they showing you how to use it there? That's nice.
Just lay her right over. It's for her comfort, Ross.
Sure is, dude.
For her lower back.
Sure is, dude. My God. Go to adamandeve.com. You get 50% off one item and free shipping with the promo code Drinkin' Bros at checkout. And this is for you or her. And no judgment either way. What's that top right one, Bob? Is that some type of leather strap for a dude?
Well, I rave in this, Ross.
And are we allowed to show that on screen?
I feel like we are. It's
I'm
multi-purpose.
really hoping we are here, because that's fun. That looks like something maybe where you can hang yourself over the bed in, and that maybe straps to the ceiling or some kind of harness.
No, you hook your keys there so you don't lose them while you're raving. You don't have pockets, Ross.
That's not raving. That's
I
just
definitely
getting butt
rave
fucked from
really
above.
hard in this.
Look at that.
Dan, let him know.
Pop that up on screen one more time, Bob. What are they calling it? The
This is
rip-off
the
harness set.
rip-off
Yeah,
harness set,
I think that's probably for a camera rig, right?
Yeah, and can I tell you the tagline?
A GoPro.
Sure,
maybe?
please do. Please
Right,
do.
right underneath it. Wage a war against boring sex with this revealing set.
No way. But I give that an applause. Give Adam and Eve some applause today. They've earned it. Thank you. My God, that's great.
I kind of feel like we don't necessarily need war metaphors when it comes to the bedroom.
You don't, right?
I'm gonna destroy that pussy.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of cringy, isn't it?
I'm going to give that pussy PTSD.
I'm gonna drop Agent Orange on your asshole.
I'm going to napalm that beehole.
Well, that means something else.
Well, you know, napalm sticks to kids. That's why we drop it on villages. It's one of my favorite all-time cadences, and we did it one time during All-American Week, running down Long Street in Fort Bragg. There's press and families everywhere, and all of a sudden, my buddy he jumps in line to do cadence. He's like, "Napalm sticks to kids," and I'm like, "Oh, here we go.
Here we go.
We're definitely going to be doing some push-ups after this is over."
You got some kids waving American flags as you guys run by.
Yeah. Well, look. Born in the wrong place? Fuck you.
Fuck you. But if you're born in America and you're into sex, because I don't know if it counts shipping to other countries. I'll have to look that up. But in the good old US of A here, it's free shipping at adamandeve.com. Yes, you have to buy that in the United States. So use the promo code Drinkin' Bros. You get one item for 50% off and free shipping at adamandeve.com. Choose wisely, because there is a goddamn catalog on there with like 3,000, Bob. How many items do they have? 3,000 or 4,000?
It's
gnarly.
I couldn't even tell you.
It's
It's
endless.
thousands. It's anything you can possibly imagine.
It's endless.
We'll see.
We'll see, right?
I have a very active imagination.
And this one will segue next perfectly into the Bud Light trannies in a shockingly tone-deaf move. The mentally ill male Dylan Mulvaney was announced as the latest spokesperson for Bud Light in a pair of videos that were attacked on social media. Homeboy revealed on Saturday that the beer company sent packs of Bud Light featuring the influencer's face as a way to celebrate the 365 days of girlhood milestone Mulvaney recently reached. Happy March Madness. Just found out this had to do with sports, not saying it's a crazy month. In celebration of this sports thing, at Bud Light is giving you the chance to win $15,000. Share a video with hashtag Easy Carry Contest for a chance to win. Good luck. Hashtag Bud Light Partner. He wrote on Instagram. Another video featured Mulvaney in a bathtub drinking a Bud Light beer as part of the campaign. The announcement was met with backlash pretty much everywhere there.
So first of all, these weird men pretending to be women, dancing around and shit. It looks like Stewart from Mad TV.
Yeah.
Like, look what I can do.
Yeah,
look
yeah,
what
yeah,
I can
yeah,
do.
yeah. It's the same voice, too.
It's the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my life. And this one is particularly bad. This Dylan Mulvaney cunt.
She just got another fucking ad yesterday.
He just got another ad yesterday. That's a dude because it has a 5 o'clock shadow.
Yeah.
The only place a woman should have a 5 o'clock shadow is on her puss. All right? Not on her face. On her puss.
Nike was the one yesterday.
Yeah. So Nike has this dude modeling yoga pants and sports bras.
Yeah.
It's a dude.
Yep.
So he's just doing like a bad impression of like an offensive caricature of a woman, and they're paying him to do it. This is blackface, but for women.
Yeah.
It's the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my life. And
Homeboy's racking up a bank account though, because these are like, I heard he's getting between 10 and 15 grand per TikTok video for this shit. So the brands that he's done, I think it's up to like 20 or something now. It's pretty fucking gnarly. So
yeah, I'm gonna just run through a list really quick of Anheuser-Busch products that you know to no longer buy.
good luck with that. They own hundreds, dude.
Well, no, these are the beers they own. So they own obviously Bud and Bud Light.
Yep.
Kona Brewing Company, I never heard of that. Michelob, Stella Artois, Busch, Estrella Jalisco Natural Light, Natty Light,
Damn, dude. Not Natty Lights.
Land Shark Lager, Presidente Beer, Hoegaarden, and Shock Top. And then these are craft partners are the ones that they have a lot of.
Yeah, there's a million of them here, and here's where I land with all this bullshit now, because Nike did the same thing 2 or 3 days later after this fucking thing. Is this this is a totally serious question I'm asking you. Is this a coordinated effort between these companies and CEOs to try to normalize this for whatever fucking reason? Like, I don't understand why. And again, it's a very small segment of the population.
0.2% of people actually have what you might refer to as either intersex or gender dysphoria, right? Intersex is a physical condition where you have both sets of genitals or two, whatever the fuck. You're kind of riding the line physiologically. But gender dysphoria, first of all, it's a mental disorder, right? I mean, we can all agree on that.
Yeah.
It was in the DSM until like 4 fucking months ago. So, yeah, it's a very small percentage of the population. James Lindsay, who is a pretty smart guy, although a bit conspiratorial sometimes, has what I think is a decent theory on all this. So it's what he calls, I think he calls it like the trans George Floyd. So they want this character to be popular or famous or whatever from that particular community, so that people on the other side of the aisle will attack and harass, and they're hoping that somebody either hurts the person or the person hurts themselves, so they can be the trans George Floyd, and then we can have 2 years of riots based on all of that shit and further divide the country. That's his theory on this.
I can't figure it out because, again, I go back to, I try to think of it logically, and yes, you're right. It's 0.2% of the population. There's 330 fucking million people who live in this goddamn country. Why would the CEOs of all of these companies, when you risk, like the Bud Light backlash has been on every fucking social media page there is that I've seen on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, you name it.
A bunch of musical artists who have deals with them have taken them off of their riders.
Yes.
Right, so they're not getting their product anymore. I've heard from a lot of people in the alcohol distribution business that they are no longer requesting this. I know I've seen at least 20 people that own bars personally who have stopped all AB InBev products from coming into their stores now. So there's going to be an impact from it. I'm not sure exactly what their goal was. And it's funny.
You're probably giving too much credit to the company as a whole. And I'll tell you, this is someone who's worked with Bud Light in particular.
Okay.
On several occasions.
Okay.
They have the GDP of a first world country.
Yeah, they're massive. They're yes, correct. Their AB is fucking huge.
And this person got this stuff sent to them, right? Mm-hmm. No one at Bud Light probably knew that happened. Like this was probably
No one
You
at
think,
Bud Light.
you think it came from a brand manager?
Yes,
There's a
this
fuck.
This came from like a small group of people or team that probably doesn't even work for Anheuser-Busch. Probably works for one of the companies they hire to do that shit. Had the cans made, sent it out. Like this person doesn't work with Bud Light. This person's probably never talked to someone who works for Anheuser-Busch.
Well,
because when I
No,
worked,
they sent him. It's a $10,000 deal.
Yeah. So I will say this: having done a little bit in that sponsorship space before, there is a brand team that is separate from the company, like a brand specialist.
that works for a entirely different company.
Well, it's a yes, and it's within that department, and they've got a bunch of brands, and they're sending shit out and everything else. I would imagine though, to get her on the can, him, whatever, fucking. I would have to imagine that you would have to get rights from Bud Light, only because we've got to get rights for all this other shit for Hard AF Seltzer. Like,
Maybe,
my guess is they already have that like in perpetuity, and they're like, hey, print up cans with Mulvaney's fucking
it
face
could be,
on
yeah.
it.
So there is a rumor going round right now that no one at AB InBev knew about this, and
That's not shocking.
and that they're planning a press release for tomorrow, Friday, to address the issue.
and
That's
that
what
could
I've
be
heard.
that could be right.
I'm
Yes.
telling you, dude,
Yep.
I worked with them so many times. I never met fucking anyone that worked for AB.
And
If it was just the cans, I would believe that. But the fact that there's a payment involved as well, I don't believe that.
But again,
But
I'm
it
just
comes
gonna
from the
say, like,
brand team, and I've been on emails.
No.
Bob, to back this up, I've been on emails with a separate brand manager that was separate from the brand itself, and then I've also been denied when I went to the brand where somebody else approved a product for a movie, and then the brand itself said, "Hey, once it finally got to the top." They stopped it at the last second. It was Helen Keller versus Nightwolves. And they were like, we need to see that fucking script, dog. Like, and once I sent it to them, they nixed it at the very top. But Anheuser-Busch is so fucking big that you could be right. We'll see.
And
Well, it's a Belgian company, right? It's not an American company
it's
anymore. It hasn't
headquartered.
been.
It's still headquartered in St. Louis.
That doesn't mean shit. It's
But yeah,
people
the
own it.
ownership is in
InBev,
Belgium
it's called
now.
AB InBev. They kept
Yeah.
AB on there to
Keep it an
appeal to
American brand,
Americans.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
I should also know that like $10,000, and that sounds like a lot. It's like, how would they not know about $10,000? That is
Pennies
such a
to them.
laughably small amount to them.
They spent $10,000 every time we went on like a spring break trip.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
I did this, by the way, for a company that's currently publicly traded, so I
Right.
know how this process works. There's a good chance that the bigwigs at InBev didn't know about this, but there's no chance that the marketing managers didn't know about it. 0% chance. Like, nobody gives you a blanket budget to do whatever you want without any kind of oversight. That's not in any way how that works.
Going to whatever USA, I would not be surprised if the budgets were.
Also, they printed her on the cans of what, like a 6-pack for her?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Not in the
so
stores.
it came out as the same time as the Pride Bud Tall Boys. I don't know if they did that in a 12 or 6-pack either, but they were
Not
Tall
sure.
Boys with all that gay bullshit on it. And it wasn't just Pride; it was all pronouns interlaced throughout the design.
Yeah,
of the
he,
can.
him, she, her,
Yeah.
all that stuff.
And they, them, because apparently we're all fucking have multiple personality disorder now. But yeah, this is
I'll be real
not
interested
great.
in that press release.
Yeah.
If it
happens,
yes,
yeah.
if it happens tomorrow and it drops, then you know some shit went down. And if somebody made that decision without their knowledge, there will be a lawsuit involved just because of the negative PR.
Well, what about
against
Nike?
This. That's what. Here's what I
What
can't
about-
understand.
so
exactly.
Na-
So
Na-
Nike came out after this Bud Light campaign. The Nike execs and the brand ambassadors and all that other shit were able to see the negative backlash from Bud Light all across social media. Why would you do this 3 days later after that? That's what I can't understand. And that's why I asked if all of this was coordinated, where you're just like, man, did you call the other people and be like, all right, great, we're all going to do this together and try to normalize it? Because it just doesn't make any sense. Or somebody at Nike's that fucking dumb after watching what happened online for the last 3 days. It just doesn't make any sense to me. So
Yeah, and there's a lot of other products that are working with this fucking retard as well. Tampax, for example, has a paid sponsorship with Dylan Mulvaney, a man. Tampax, which is a piece of shredded cotton that you stuff up your fucking pussy hole.
Yeah, for periods.
To keep blood from coming out.
Sure.
And then, of course, there's Nike Native, the deodorant, the non-aluminum deodorant.
Okay.
That company and their parent company have this is not an isolated single marketing team with one woke dude or one woke woman that made some decision. This is pervasive.
Yeah, there's a lot. Like I said, I think it's 20 or so companies that have worked with this dude, and The Nike one is the biggest shocker to me because you were able to see
no,
3
Nike
days.
sponsored fucking Colin Kaepernick.
But 3 days after you saw this Bud Light backlash, you decided to do it. I mean, that one doesn't make any sense. Now, I would have pulled that immediately. And been like, hey,
the
dude.
funniest one to me is the tampons.
Just sports bra though was good.
I want this motherfucker to do a 5-minute video explaining exactly why and how, down to the very minute detail, you're using a fucking tampon.
Medically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because what's it for? Is it if your dick hole or your butthole are bleeding, go to the hospital. That's not normal. There's no fucking amount of fabric you could stuff in you to stop that.
Well, here's the other part of this, right? So let's say you get your dick and balls removed and you have a vagina. I don't think you have menstruation.
No, you don't have a fucking uterus, so you definitely don't have menstruation.
So what would the Tampax be for, other than just it would be like me wearing a diaper today. Like, I'm not a baby.
I wore a diaper today. So
I'm not a baby, but I could wear one and piss and shit myself, I guess, if I wanted to.
Yeah.
But I couldn't have a period. So me popping a Tampax down there wouldn't do anything.
Have you seen Butt Babies? Are you familiar with this product? Bob, look it up. So Butt Babies is basically like a plastic baby that fucking quote unquote trans women, which is not a thing. That's a dude with his dick cut off or just in women's clothes. There's no such thing as a trans woman. Anyways, they shove the baby, this little baby, plastic baby, up their ass so they can experience giving birth. I promise you this is a real thing. Somebody sent it to me. I'm like, there's no fucking way this exists.
This is fake.
It definitely exists. It is a real thing. They come in multiple sizes, just like butt plugs.
Is that real, Bob? Is that? Am I seeing that correctly?
Found something on Etsy.
Okay, pop it up on screen.
It's on Etsy.
Holy shit, dude. That's a little tiny fucking butt baby. It's called Butt Baby. It's $18 on Etsy. And you can experience, is it anal birth? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, but this isn't there's an official product. I can't remember what it's called, but it exists. It was, it's so fucking stupid, dude. It is so goddamn stupid.
That's
so
amazing,
goddamn
dude.
stupid. And
we're all fucked.
We're just like fucking completely delusional now. And not only, like, we've always had delusional people, religion exists, but we've never really, it's never been like kosher to demand other people participate in your delusion. And when that has been the case in, religion, for example, we look back on it in disgust. But now everybody is moralizing this issue like, oh, you're fucking disabusing someone of their right to live their life. Like, no, I'm just not going to pretend like you're fucking Batman, you stupid bitch.
Yeah. Just because you put on the costume, I don't think you're going to save the city tonight. The Butt Babies, though, I'm kind of into, because I would like to do it and then invite all you over and have first of all, I want a baby shower. And I want you to bring gifts for my butt baby.
You're just sitting there clenched the whole time.
Yep, and
your face is red.
I'm all squeezed up like this. Woo! And I want a full baby shower.
Yeah.
And then after, I want to have a baby moon.
Well, no, you've got to
do the whole thing.
You've got to do a gender reveal party.
Where we have a pink or blue come out.
For your butt baby.
Yeah, for my butt baby. Yeah. We can do all the things. And then at the end, I want you guys to all come take me to the hospital. I'll call you when I feel like I'm ready to give birth to my butt baby. And I want you to take me to the hospital and get me up in the stirrups. I want an epidural. And I want to have my butt baby and put it out into the world.
I wouldn't mind having an epidural.
It'd be blast,
just
wouldn't it?
For recreation.
Yeah. I guess you gotta hope it kicks in fast. They don't look fun to get.
It's not fun to get.
Oh no, I've had
but
spinal taps
it's
before.
Fun when
they
you're
suck.
on them.
Yeah,
Fuck
getting a needle
that.
in your back sucks. Apparently.
Yeah.
Who knew?
Who knew?
Yeah. But yeah, it's so Matt Walsh, who I'm not a fan of, actually at a recent event did a pretty good job. So this dude,
I saw
play
that,
the whole thing because I think it's actually.
It is good, yeah,
good.
and I'm with you.
It was one time where he wasn't just an absolute cunt to somebody,
Sure,
which is nice to see.
Yeah,
oftentimes he is an absolute cunt to people.
Well, I think when you're speaking and you're doing these speaking gigs, because I saw this video that you're referring to. I think if you talk in a calm manner like this, you're not screaming at people's faces. You're at least able to have dialogue and real conversations about it. Go ahead and play this video, Bob.
How would you define a woman? Because you've asked other people up here to define how we would define a woman. How would you define a woman, Mr. Walsh?
an adult human female.
And how doesn't a transgender woman fit that definition?
Because they're not female. They have, you said that you are a biological male, correct?
I said I'm transgender. I might be intersex for all we know. About almost as many people
Do you have a
in
dick
the
and a
world
pussy? 'Cause you
are
would know that, I think.
transgender as intersex, and
Well-
a lot of people don't know.
Well, but that's a different conversation. Intersex, that's a genetic anomaly, that's a medical condition. So that's a completely different conversation. That's also not a third gender. That's a genetic anomaly that occurs within the sex binary of male and female. What you're saying is that a quote unquote trans woman is a female.
By the definitions I'm familiar with, yes.
So how would you define female?
Through my training in healthcare, there are several different categories for how we define sex. People bring up chromosomes. People also bring up hormone levels. People bring up all sorts of other categories. Lots of people don't fit neatly into a gender binary, even people we don't consider to be intersex. It's a complicated spectrum.
It's not complicated, but you also didn't define. So what is a woman? What is a female? What do these words mean?
It's complicated, and I know you're not going to like that answer, but that's because there are no simple answers in human biology.
Let me ask you a question.
You guys,
Can I ask you one last
hang
question?
on. Just let me finish. You guys like to bring up high school level biology classes a lot. I get that a lot, but people who go on to more complicated biology classes will talk about sex as a spectrum.
It's not. It's not.
Well, biological researchers would disagree with you.
Well, then they're full of shit, the ones that would say that. There are male gametes and female gametes. Oh, I had one last question. I just have one. I had one quick. Can you come back for 1 second? Because this is an important question. You said you're an EMT.
Yes.
Okay, if you're responding to a health emergency. Biological male, somebody with a penis, is having a medical emergency, and they say to you, "I think I'm having a miscarriage." Would you check them to see if they're having a miscarriage? Would you consider that a possibility for them?
Look. No, but that's because some people don't have body parts. Doesn't mean they're not a woman.
Okay. Sounds like we've established there are some people who, in principle, can get pregnant, and there are some people who can't. So there's two categories, otherwise known as binary.
Lots of women can't get pregnant either.
Yeah, but they're still of the nature to get pregnant. The only
But
reason
they can't get pregnant.
Yes, but
truth matters, right?
It does. That's what I'm trying to explain to you.
Truth matters, and they can't get pregnant. That's the truth. So how are they still women?
Because they are for the same reason that I can rightly say that human beings have two legs. And if a person is born with only one leg, that doesn't call into question the statement that human beings have two legs, okay? A person being born with one leg doesn't mean that now legs are on a spectrum and we can't say anything at all about how many legs a person has. Who knows? They could be a centipede. You know, they could have 100 legs. No, we know human beings have two legs. If a human is born without two legs, something went wrong. They were supposed to have that second leg. Something went wrong. If you meet a person on the street who only has one leg, maybe they had an accident. Maybe they were in war. Maybe they were in a car accident. Maybe they had cancer. A leg was cut off. But you know that something went wrong because by their nature, they're supposed to have two legs. Same thing for a woman. A woman by her nature can get pregnant. A man by his nature never can. So if you meet a woman of childbearing age, say she's 28 years old, and she can't get pregnant, you know automatically that something has gone wrong. And she can go to the doctor and find out what that thing is, even if they can't fix it. So that proves that women by their nature can get pregnant, because the simple fact that she can't shows you that there's something wrong. This is what is known as the exception that proves the rule. Whereas if a male with a penis can't get pregnant, no doctor on earth is going to run tests to see what's wrong with him. Because they already know it's that he's a male, and there's only male and female, those who can get pregnant and those who can't. So, that's it. That's
The end.
Yeah.
Now that's
Pretty simple.
He was more kind than he normally is there, so that's why I was okay running this. Sometimes he's a dick, but
well, I think as you go on more and more of these speaking tours, which he is right now, I believe it's for that movie. I think he's got a movie out.
What is a woman?
Yeah, documentary.
Yeah, documentary out, and I think if you're not gonna get run off a campus like a Milo and those guys in the past, you have to be able to have conversations where you're in control and willing to participate with other people like this, and that's the proper way to do it, in my opinion. So, yeah. But there really is no other explanation than that.
No, we made a whole movie about this. You know what I mean? It's called Big Daddy. Remember that movie? Where he fell into having a child it turned out to be Jon Stewart's child. So Jon Stewart is a deadbeat dad. Everybody knows that now, right?
Yeah.
No, so he has his child now, and he's like, cool, I'm a laissez-faire kind of parent, dude. You wear what you want. You want your name to be Frankenstein? Fuck yeah, dude. You want to eat cereal for every meal? Go ahead and do it. And he turned into a dumb, smelly kid.
Yeah.
Right? If you can't learn lessons from Adam Sandler, I don't know who you can learn them from, to be honest. He's my guru when it comes to life decisions.
Same.
But that's the ridiculous nature of this stupid fucking conversation we're having over the past couple of years. We literally made a parody comedy about this 20 years ago.
Yeah. And it's, look, it just keeps getting worse day by day, and I don't really understand why. Because it goes back to what you said of, like, if you wore a Batman costume and everything. No, you're not fucking Batman. You know, I'm not expected to call you Batman. I don't want to believe that you can save the city, you're going to stop the Joker, all that other shit. Like, I'll go along with it and be like, that's a fun costume today. That's a neat thing that you're trying out for the day, but this is not permanent.
But
you're
you know
not
what you
Batman.
wouldn't do is let that person around your children.
No, sure wouldn't.
Under any circumstances, especially not in a classroom unsupervised.
No.
At no point would any reasonable person do that.
Yeah.
But here we are, right? But let's end things on a positive note.
Sure.
So we all know we have a border control issue right now. 2.5 million illegal immigrants came across the border last year alone and will never leave. Those are the ones we didn't catch.
Right.
2.5 million people. But Border Patrol is kind of ratcheting up their enforcement mechanisms. And one of the ways they do that is through using service animals to sniff for fentanyl, bombs, so on and so forth. So now they're going to expand the types of animals they're using.
No way.
Right? So there's a brief video that we can play now if Bob's paying attention.
Yeah. Has he got the masters on? Who's one of the masters?
I don't know.
I'm taking notes.
It's the last thing there. It's just
just
a quick video, and
is this real, by the way?
No.
Okay, great.
No, it's from April Fools.
Here's the German Shepherd is synonymous for being the breed of choice for law enforcement agencies across the world. Now we have some exciting news to share with everyone. The Border Patrol has started to look at different breeds of animals to detect contraband. Take a look at our newest partners in action. This has been such a success that we will be expanding our use of narcotics and concealed human detecting animals to include a wider variety of species.
The pit bull, there's a cock.
Well, now there's a goldfish.
Stay tuned to see what different animals we use to protect our nation's borders.
Oh, goldfish, yeah.
And yes, all species will be considered.
He's feeding it inside the little glass there.
Yeah,
I like that.
That goldfish has actually risen to the rank of staff sergeant already.
Yeah,
so,
Big fan.
Yeah, we're making a comeback. We're going to secure our border.
With goldfish.
I
think goldfish is the way to do it, you know? They're friendly. They're not going to fight back.
Well, that last one was a beta fish.
Oh, was it?
It's one of those fighting fish, so careful around them.
All right. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. Now's the point in the show we get to the Drinkin' Bro of the Week. Come on up here. Come on up, sir. We see you back there. Yeah. Come on up. Come on down. There it is. If you're in the Austin area and want to join us for a live show here right off at 290, nice huge sign on the side of the highway, hop in there and put the mic about an inch from your mouth, and we'll chat there.
What's going on, man?
My short kings, dude.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, how tall are you?
Oh, God, like 5'3".
Are you really?
Oh, yeah, bro. You know, every time Dan makes fun of short people, I'm like, man, I feel personally insulted.
Do you want to get the Conzery shoes?
I really do. You know, we were on our way here, and we were listening to you guys.
Yeah.
And I was like, wife, we need these. And she goes, no.
You know how many people use those things?
I can imagine a lot, yeah.
Tons. Yep. I'm 6'3", so I don't really need it. But,
so is my best friend. Every time I give him a hug, I'm like, man, fuck you.
You're a full foot smaller.
Yep.
I'll give you a hug after this.
I'd appreciate it.
Do I have
like
to
a picture,
hunch
too.
down?
So.
Yeah, we'll get a picture. Do I have to hunch down after this to get a pic?
I mean, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah. Is that your wife with you?
Yes, sir.
Oh, cheers. Cheers. Tell everybody your name.
Stephen Harris.
Hey, welcome to the show, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Drinking the hard AFs back there?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We had to kill an hour, so we went to some fancy-ass place that she found, and it's really expensive. So, but I was
welcome to Austin, right? Where are you from?
Oregon.
Okay. Are you really?
Yes, sir.
Holy shit, dude. How's that?
Well, we brought our weather with us, so.
Yeah, you did. It's
yes,
fucking
sir.
40 and raining here today.
It's been snowing all week at our house, so.
No shit.
Yep.
Wow.
So this is a step up.
Yeah, it sure is. Welcome. Well, I feel like we're in the Midwest.
Yeah.
It's nice. You know the drill. Who'd you like to give the Drinkin' Bro of the Week to?
Well, 2 people. Actually, maybe 3. If we're good with that.
We've all day. I've got nowhere else to be today. For real. I don't
First
care.
off is my wife over there, Tiffany.
Okay.
We had a hell of the last 2 years, 3 years actually, with just injuries and family stuff and everything. And yeah, she was just the rock. It's
How long
unreal.
you guys been married?
Well, we're high school sweethearts, so we've been together since I was 15, and we've been married for 10 years.
10 years.
But we've been together for 16.
Well, here's why I ask. Relationships are hard work. And if you want to keep a marriage together, it's not going to be great all the time. You're going to go through all the shits. You're going to go through injuries. You're going to go through being in the hospital. You name it, it's going to happen if you want to be in a long-term relationship.
Yes, sir.
And that comes with it.
Yep.
So, yeah, cheers to you guys.
Yep. And
yeah,
then
I see your videotape about that.
Oh, yeah. I had to convince her to come here, so we're on vacation. So.
Oh, are you really?
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
And after hearing this show today,
this hasn't been bad compared to some of the ones you've had.
Yeah,
so.
that's true. We didn't look at the inside of any horse assholes today.
That's true. That is true. And the next one's my best friend, Jason. Same thing. I mean, the last couple of years, like between her and him, it's just been nice to have someone to lean on.
Nice.
So, and then my dad, the last one, we owned a family company, and it just inspired to be someone like him. So
that's
pretty
awesome.
Cool.
What's the name of your company?
Budget Asphalt, small asphalt company up in Oregon.
Budget Asphalt. And what do you guys do up there?
Small parking lot repairs, seal coating, striping, dump truck services, all that. All the rock related stuff. That's what we do.
Do you have a website? You can shout it out.
Bro, Facebook, man. We're low key.
Okay.
So, yep.
I didn't know.
So,
I was like,
no,
hey,
I
promote
appreciate
the brand.
No, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. No, we're low key. So.
Because I mean, look, with Drinkin' Bros shit, as you've heard on the show, like it's true in real life. Like we hire Drinkin' Bros. We try to use Drinkin' Bros whenever we can.
Yeah.
So we actually know the job's going to get done and it's going to get done properly. Otherwise, you're faced with whatever assholes are around the area, and it's hit or miss, man.
Yes, sir. Yep.
You're really flipping a coin these days where you're just like, will they even show up?
Right.
Like in Austin here, if you want just any job done, there is a service fee just to come and look at the job they could potentially do, and it usually runs between $150 and $175. They're here for about 15 minutes. They'll give you some outrageous quote that they know you're not going to pay, and truthfully, they just want to get paid $150 for 15 minutes, and then they're going to somebody else's thing to do the same.
Yeah, they're just going to rack those up all day.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it fucking sucks, dude.
Yep.
It sucks.
Yeah, we don't do that up there. We do free estimates, and then we only get paid when we finish the job. So
that's awesome.
Yep.
That's awesome. Well, hey, thanks for coming down and spending
I appreciate
some time
it, man.
with us
Thank you.
Here in Austin, and we greatly appreciate it, and thank you for supporting the show.
Oh, dude, I was day one homie for the Hard AF seltzers.
No shit, dude.
As soon as they went live, I ordered a pack, and then I actually messaged you on Instagram. I'm like, Yeah, you need to get the shit up in Oregon because I'm too poor to order the shit online. So
I know, right? I know.
So-
Look, we're trying to get it everywhere. We're in the middle of all these investor calls and meetings and Series A raises and all that stuff. And once we do, then we'll be able to make the push to all 50 states immediately. But in the meantime, there's only me, Dan, and one of our buddies from SEAL Team on Paramount and Paramount Plus. We're the only investors right now, so it's hard to get to all the states.
Right.
But the states we are in, we're trying to make a big push.
Yeah, congrats on the Marlins deal.
Thank you.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, Marlins, Rays, Rowdies down in Florida, and then we're in Tennessee as well. And then we hope that'll keep shifting across the country.
Yeah.
But even those, it's so hard and it's so much time where you need a huge staff, and we're working on it.
Well, that's awesome. Yeah.
So the reason why I say that is thank you for your support, because that's what paid for the Rays deals and the things like that, like for real.
Yeah. No, I appreciate letting us come in here too and just hang out.
Absolutely.
She's like, they record these live? Yeah,
Sure
they
do.
record live.
He's on YouTube right now.
There we go, babe.
Will
Told
this
you.
video get deleted in an hour? Probably.
It's
from
not because of
YouTube.
me though.
No.
So
it'll be because of the Bud Light tranny thing. Like that'll be. Oh no, delete it.
Yes, sir.
Delete the video. But thank you so much for your support, and we greatly appreciate it. And cheers to 10 years of marriage. And if you're in the Austin area, pop on by, drink some free Hard AF seltzers in the studio, give out Drinkin' Bro of the Week, or you can head on over to drinkinbros.com. Click on the submission form in the top right corner. It'll get emailed directly to us. And while you're there, you can peruse the catalog of items in the store there, and not $1 goes to the Ukraine. And that's fun. So whatever you buy, hats, T-shirts, glassware, whatever, none of it's going to Zelensky. And you got to feel good about that. We appreciate you being here. For D'Anthony Holloway, I'm Ross Patterson. This is Drinkin' Bros Fake News. Good night, everybody.